Welcome. This is David Boles, Human Meme. Today's topic, the case against a PowerPoint society. We live in odd but sticky contextual times. Actually, we are always searching for a frame to lead us, for a bright line to define us, for someone other than us to tell us how to think, how to feel, and how to behave. Our context becomes our society, and in our forced sobriety, we must keep believing we need more rules and additional lines of demarcation, and heaps of forced memes of behavior, all in order to not only survive, but to pretend to understand the meaning in our world. Don't tell me how to behave, but let me know how to think. And all of that leads us to this, the topic of today's Human Meme podcast. And we have come to depend upon without thriving as a push me, pull me PowerPoint society. Yes, we've discussed the horribleness of PowerPoint as an idea in the past, right here in this Human Meme podcast. But today, we're going the extra farthing. We are going to extend the argument against the lazy use of technology in a PowerPoint society. In the theater, we believe in the strong idea of showing, not telling. And that show don't tell mandate also applies to writing. But in the theater, the sensibility, the taste one is attempting to train in the young playwright is always unavoidably this. If you can create a scene of action to propel forward your storytelling, do that. Do not have two people standing around talking about a murder. Show the actual murder. And that show don't tell requirement is why I really hate any dramatic scene on the live stage or film or in television where two people are talking on the telephone. Telephones are for telling. Talk is text, and text is non-dramatic. Images are dramatic. Text is dead. And so the phone is this horrible cheat and a convenience for the immature writer to get across exposition. Dramatic phone calls, if you can call it that, should be replaced with scenes of actual action and drama. Plus, with the rise of cell phones today, authors are now even more dependent upon the phone to reflectively tell their societal story between characters over the phone. And that's because that's how many young authors live their lives today, virtually, vicariously, online, and without the touch of human blood to be found. And so, my human meme friend, if you happen to see a phone conversation on screen or in person in a theater, always think of that scene this way. Lazy writer, exposition is about to arrive. There's just nothing more boring for an audience member than watching two people talking on the phone. Don't do it. And do not have a scene where two people are only talking to each other. Action. Drama is movement. A silent scene with action, with movement of its people, is always more effective and exciting than a talking scene with seated people. And now, back to the main harangue of the day. PowerPoint is yet another modern-day miasma, and PowerPoint always overtakes us every time in real life. Because PowerPoint is safe and PowerPoint is convenient. Even though PowerPoint is the modern moment of those boring on-stage phone calls we have witnessed on TV and in the movies. Is there anything worse than attending a presentation of information and knowledge, and then having the person of your attention give over the storytelling to a giant, inanimate TV projection screen behind them? And there's an old adage, you don't read from your PowerPoint presentation. And don't use any formally constructed text on the slides. Just use hinted bullet points and images in PowerPoint. But you know what I know. Nobody really ever does that. Nope. Everyone pretty much just copies everyone else and creates a PowerPoint speech. And they type it all up right there in their PowerPoint slides. And they call it another lazy day. And so here is my challenge to you. Get rid of PowerPoint from your life. Create a presentation that focuses on you, on your data, on your mind, and not on the artificial PowerPoint monster you create behind you or in front of your audience. PowerPoint is boring, PowerPoint is ineffective, and PowerPoint is merely reflective and not reflexive. So be a human being. You are interesting in and of yourself. Tell a story. Make your audience want to watch you. Pull their interest into you. And then, sadly, but fortunately, you'll actually be unique and fresh. And you will have earned the badge of being fresh air. Because you will have paid rapt attention to them, your audience, merely by demanding they pay attention directly back to you with interest. But you can only pull attention to you and keep it with you if you only invest in your own talents and storytelling and not in technology alone. And yes, there's no way around the fact that PowerPoint is just lazy teaching and lazy presenting. There are better ways to skin the nut. There are more human memes meant for the exploitation of the propagation of knowledge in the world. And they all begin and end in blood, in heartbeat rhythms, and the shared sanctuary of human storytelling. Now, if you are a creative mind and you say no to using PowerPoint, but you are forced to use PowerPoint anyway by outside forces around you that may employ you, or directly influence your joy-to-fear ratio, then use PowerPoint creatively and sparingly. Let the PowerPoint slides hint at the knowledge you are about to share and propagate. Don't type anything, though. Text is deadly to your presentation, even bulleted text. Because PowerPoint presented in a large venue is physically bigger than your entire body. And as you know, people in the audience are rude and tend to read ahead. And with PowerPoint behind you and beside you, you can enable them to completely ignore you and forget you're even there. Because you see, we've been trained to follow the technology. And we want electricity to lead us. Because we like the predictability and the reliability of the greasy machine over the unbound human. Yes, we want the mechanisms instead of the us of us. And since you already really know that, You are now no longer allowed to use PowerPoint as a crutch against human imagination. Fight to tell your story, your private story, and tell it all your way and in the realm of your rules, not someone else's. And when everyone around you is expecting more PowerPoint, you are instead able to stand up, technology-free, and engage people with the practiced art of your sharp and reasonable mind. You are all entirely viewable and recognizable and alive, even in the dark, as you stand there, presented, slowly seeing the shining firelight in the eyes of your peers, peering back at you from the abyss. Thank you for listening. Be a human meme.